etc, etc. These are some of the manifestos that started the 3 months campaign that is going to take a long 3 months turn, but as it takes shape while we look forward to the 2026 general election. The question is, do Ugandans actually vote based on manifestos, or they actually vote based on issues at hand in that moment? That is for you to think on and to chew on. But as you chew on that, NUP officially handed out cards to members of parliament aspirants representing the party. And a few of those that are, of course, making the rounds, Matthias Walukaga was selected to replace Honorable Medad Segona for Busiro County. And Shamim Malende is bouncing back for Kampala Central, while Zahara Luika has been deployed to Machindye East. Question there is, will she actually accept to really run for Machindye East, seeing as she also had a lot of influence in Kampala? Derek Nyeko obviously dropped. For Rubaga South, Aloysius Mokasa was dropped for Eugenia Nasolo. Now, I shall allow Robert Chirabo Nyonyintono to add gist to the matters red card, but my name is Julie F. Nantaba. Good morning, Uganda, and welcome to the show. Good morning, Robert.
Lovely morning to you, Julie. I love the gray you're putting on. I hope I don't have challenges with my sight.
Well, it looks like your suit, so looks like we woke up on the same memo today.
Great minds.
I think alike. Now, I could tell your body language. I know you have a lot to spew when it comes to matters the red card. Start right away. Read it.
Well, first I want to thank the Elections Management Committee of National Unity Platform for the job well done, because they really had some challenges in some positions. Key among them was how are they going to handle the issue of Shamim Malende, Honorable, and Zahara Ruyurika. Now, this was a very tricky moment.
Right.
And we were all waiting to see how they are going to play this. But I want to say they scored. They scored. They scored. Malende was the favorite on ground, and of course she had qualified in all aspects. Now, Zahara being taken to, that is Machindye West?
Machindye East.
Sorry, Machindye East. Now remember, there are also contestants there.
Right.
And I don't know, though there is still that belief that in some areas, once you have the NUP ticket, it may work out well. But if those choose not to move out of the race, and they step foot on ground and they push, that may be a slot they may lose.
Right.
It would have been fair enough, yes. She's not gone through the vetting committee, she's good enough. But there has to be one person, like the NUP principal said yesterday, that all of you are good. But you see, this card must go to one person. So if she didn't make it, it would have been better not to destabilize the environment there, that someone there gets the ticket. Two, when it comes to Aloysius Mokasa and going in for Nasolo, I must say that was also a good choice.
Really? Why? Why so?
Aloysius Mokasa, one, let's look at representation of the people. The Mokasa came on the side of money. If I've seen someone in Kampala who invested money in the campaigns, was Aloysius Mokasa. After getting the vote, where was Mokasa? I'm talking about someone I know, my OB from primary.
So,
but this is a person, when he went into parliament.
So when you ask the question, where was Mokasa, you actually mean Mokasa? His representation on the floor of parliament.
On the floor of parliament, even in the constituency.
I think he was actually quite active in the constituency, but on the floor of parliament, I would agree with you.
No, Mokasa focused more on party activity. He forgot the constituency. Yet Nasoro was still on ground, and remember, she had made efforts, and she was a strong pillar even during Mokasa.
What if Mokasa focused more on people activity?
That is at least an area where I usually, he wasn't so much.
I noticed he was quite active whenever there were incidents or an unfortunate events.
No, those all MPs
so I think
are
he
active.
Was
Let me tell you,
active.
those all MPs, when people die in huge numbers, when buildings fall, and the area MP will be there. Let me tell you, he wasn't active on the floor of Parliament.
That's true.
Because members of Parliament, this is how we see them. Active on the floor of Parliament, which is their noble role, legislation and pushing for accountability, holding. Now, if not active on the floor of Parliament, we see them on media. It may not mean much so much, because where the decisions matter is Parliament. But you tell me, how many media stations did you ever see Aloysius Smokers?
Right.
At least saying this is the problem of people in Lubaga. These things, when an accident, fires, gutted a market, baduka, they will come. Because cameras are expecting them, they'll
So he
do
was
something.
people active and
So
not necessarily...
He wasn't on the floor, he wasn't on the media. I think where he concentrated maybe was on NUP activity and funding. So that was a good measure. Who else? There's another interesting...
well, there was Eugenia, of course, Eugenia Nasola is replacing Aloysius, and then Matthias Walukaga replacing Honorable Medad Segona. I'm not so sure what that looks like.
Now,
but
Honorable
it
Medad
was such a
Segona
shock.
is my area MP when I come to where my parents stay.
Right.
That is Katale Busawula. So he's our MP. But I must say, in legislation, the role a member of Parliament is supposed to do on the floor and in the House, we've lost. We've lost. As far as people representation and legislation is concerned.
I do agree with you on that.
But being in the people, we've not lost. You see, our politics has happened that when you're a member of Parliament, there are some other roles people expect from you. Not necessarily that they are your mandate. He's my MP. But he wasn't amongst the people. He had a term in case there's anything, and you know, sometimes people have lost someone. They expect, if us TV presenters, well, call you tonight to call about this issue, then you say, Yakuba Yanziba had some term that was funny to understand, meaning you don't have, I also don't have. Now, my only challenge is the replacement to Medad Segona, Matthias Walukaga. Segona was heading critical teams committee of Parliament.
Right.
You know, he was a brand. Yes, he wasn't on ground. I must say he didn't, but the replacement.
Well, for my area...
But the good thing is that also what Ugandans vote for remains unclear, more so in this particular region.
That is why the question...
And also some of these people, sometimes that may not be seen, reach to stages and they perform. And they perform.
That is why the question
But I think the replacement...
manifestos or issues at hand. Well, my area MP was given a card. He's such a people person. On the floor of Parliament, I don't see him a lot. But that is Honorable Serukenya. But he has his card. So we wait to see what goes on in the general elections as he battles it out with other parties. But what do we have on the local scene, Robert?
Well, it's all about presidential candidates and where they were yesterday. We'll begin with the NRM candidate, incumbent Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Now, the National Resistance Movement Party launched the 2026-2021 manifesto. The memorable event held at Munyonyo Conference Center was presided over by the party chairperson Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Museveni, at the same time, who is the NRM presidential flag bearer for 2026-2031. Under the gains, Museveni picked one, peace and stability, as the first achievement. This followed by development. Museveni ranks wealth creation in the third position as one of the key steps taken to elevate Uganda. By and large, Museveni said it's through wealth creation that the country will be saved from the mess which comes along the search for greener pastures abroad. President Museveni further downplayed those trying to fall back Uganda into sectarianism as he seeks for another term in office. Museveni boasts of moving Uganda from doom to Rome. It's under this line that Museveni projects Uganda's economy to thrive. If elected in the coming general elections, Museveni said poverty eradication will top the list of his priorities. Fighting crime, providing free health care and education services among the promises he made. His last address was an appeal to the youth who hold Uganda's future. Members and supporters of the National Unity Platform, NUP, gathered at the party headquarters in Makere, Kavule, waiting the arrival of their president, Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. The occasion marked the handover of the official list of parliamentary flag bearers who will represent the party in 2026 general elections. Dressed in outfits reflecting the party colors and desert caps plus shoes, supporters appeared ready for the long journey to Jinja, where the party launched the manifesto to officially kick off the campaign. After the arrival of Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, the NUP Electoral Management Committee presented a list of the candidates to Kyagulanyi. The committee confirmed that the list will be shared publicly on social media. Kyagulanyi Ssentamu emphasized that those who have been given cards and those who have not need to work together. He was joined by leaders from Mityana, which had Mityana North aspirant Isaac Tomusange, who emphasized maintaining peace throughout the campaigning period. Before setting off for Jinja, a prayer was offered for Kyagulanyi as he embarked on the presidential campaign. Accompanied by top leaders, he was cheered on by crowds who lined the streets near Makere Kavule headquarters, waving as the convoy made its way out. Haji Mubarak Munyagwa, the president of the Common Man's Party, launched his manifesto for presidency to lead the Republic of Uganda 2026-2031. Munyagwa's first rally was held in Katanga, Kawempe division, where Common Man's Party committed towards solving fundamental grievances, issues of Uganda. Munyagwa, whose symbol is a metallic platter, first served his supporters with pilau to signify shared responsibility and togetherness. The party unveiled several flag bearers, especially those vying for different positions in Kampala. Munyaga decried of the security agencies for threatening people to attend his rallies. According to the Electoral Commission campaign roadmap, Mubarak Munyagwa will today be expected in Bugweri, though the party announced presence in Machindye today.
Oh, wow. You know,
Finally, on the local scene, FDC presidential candidate for 2026 general elections, Nandra Mafabi, commenced campaign programs starting from Buyikwe in Chagwe. Mafabi held his first rally at Nkokonjeru to Chiyindi, then Buyikwe town, Lugazi town, and the last rally was in Njeru. In places like Najembe Market, police allowed him to speak to the vendors. Mafabi asked people in Buyikwe to vote for him, promising to give each village 100 million shillings every year to get them out of poverty. Nandala said his expertise in issues of the economy is enough for him to get people out of poverty, and he is to do this through fighting corruption. Namuwanga Shifra, the FDC aspirant for woman parliamentary representative, called on people to vote all FDC flag bearers at all levels if they want to see the transformation in leadership. Other FDC members who accompanied Mafabi are Patrick Oboy Amriat, the FDC president, and others. Today, the FDC presidential candidate will hold his campaign in Ibuvuma district after then head to Kasese and Bundi Bujo. Now, that brings us to the end of our local stories this morning. The Lusania man is there. He served the people.
I watched his campaign trail yesterday, and I wondered if people paid attention to anything he said.
Why?
It was the food they paid attention to.
You see, campaigns, I've observed for a long time. Most of the times, the people that come to these campaign rallies are not interested in the words of the candidate. No wonder. I will give you a quick example. There was a rally I went to cover some time back, and this is what happened. The candidate was not a good speaker. So they brought artists, artist after artist after artist. Then the candidate came and did these two things. He mentioned the name of the party. Oh yeah, Z, uru, uru, wah, wah, wah. And people were all over. Mundabiranga ddala mwebale nnyo obudde buweddeyo. Poliisi manyi nga tena tukwata tugala musibe bulungi.
Oh wow.
He literally said nothing of what is going to
Was he voted?
Yes. He was voted. He's in parliament.
You know what I watched
the
yesterday?
other side, booze was flowing. Soda,
what I watched yesterday
water,
was Mireya Lumbe. Natakabye.
Then the Z, yeah, and someone comes in parliament.
Oh, Uganda, we ought to do better. Looking at what we have on the global scene, and this is starting off with matters Trump and Netanyahu. After meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu yesterday, U.S. President Donald Trump said the leaders were close to achieving peace in the Middle East. Quote unquote, at the very least, at the minimum, very, very close, Trump said during a joint news conference at the White House. He outlined his new 20-point plan to end Israel's war on Gaza and secure the release of Israeli captives still being held in the Palestinian territory. Diplomatic sources have told Al Jazeera that Hamas's negotiating team is studying Trump's plan to end the war. Quote unquote, thank you very much, everybody. This is a big, big day, a beautiful day, potentially one of the greatest days ever in civilization, Trump said as the news conference started. Quote unquote, and I'm not just talking about Gaza. Gaza is one thing, but we're talking about much beyond Gaza. The whole deal, everything getting solved. It's called peace in the Middle East, he added. Prime Minister Netanyahu and I have just concluded an important meeting on many vital issues, including Iran, trade, the expansion of the Abraham Accords, and most importantly, we discussed how to end the war in Gaza, but it's just a part of the bigger picture, which is peace in the Middle East, and let's call it eternal peace in the Middle East, Trump said. Now, staying in Asia, a Chinese national has been convicted of playing a key role in what is believed to be the single largest cryptocurrency seizure in the world, worth more than $6.7 billion. Zimin Qian, also known as Yadi Zhang, pleaded guilty on Monday at Southwark Crown Court, London, of illegally acquiring and possessing the cryptocurrency. Between 2014 and 2017, she led a large-scale scam in China by cheating more than 128,000 victims and storing the stolen funds in Bitcoin assets, the Metropolitan Police said in a statement. The Met Police said the 47-year-old's guilty plea follows a 7-year probe into a global money laundering web. The police said the probe began in 2018 after they got a tip-off about the transfer of criminal assets. Qian had been evading justice for 5 years up to her arrest, which required a complex investigation involving multiple jurisdictions, said Detective Sergeant Isabella Grotto, who led the Met's investigation. She fled China using false documents and entered the UK, where she attempted to launder the stolen money by buying property, said the Met. She had help from another Chinese national. Jian Wen, the former takeaway worker, was jailed for 6 years and 8 months last year for her part in the criminal operation. The Met Police said it had seized a total of 61,000 bitcoins from Qian. Very interesting. Anyways, let's come to the continent. Thousands of Gen Z protesters took to the streets across Madagascar to demonstrate against prolonged electricity and water outages on Monday, prompting the president to dissolve the government. Now, footage filmed in Antananarivo shows demonstrators blocking roads, setting fires in the streets, and attempting to reach key administrative buildings. Authorities responded with crowd dispersal tactics following the unrest in the capital and elsewhere. A nightly curfew was imposed in Antananarivo. Madagascar President Andre Rajoelina announced the dissolution of the government over the unrest on the same day. Quote unquote, "We acknowledge and apologize if members of the government have not carried out the tasks assigned to them," Andre stated in an address to the nation. The demonstrations were sparked by months of blackouts and irregular water supply, leaving residents without reliable access to essential services. Hospitals, schools, and households across the affected regions have faced disruptions, fueling widespread frustration and anger. Organizers have called for further protests in the coming days across the capital and other major cities as public outrage continues to grow. Well, that brings us to the end of what we have on the global scene. I hope that does not happen in Uganda, given the rampant electricity outbreaks that we have lately. But Robert, what do we have on the local scene?
Oh, you just opened a can of worms when you talked about electricity. But the good thing is we were assured there is money and they are going to purchase the needed equipment. So Ugandans just have to hold on a little bit. Now, moving to the new vision this morning, parties launch manifesto, priorities for NRM revealed. And there is a picture of His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the NRM flag bearer, and Mama there, and the manifesto. I also see the Secretary General. I see Haji Moses Chigongo, that is the Vice Chairperson, and here also the Speaker, who is also the Vice now for women. Looking again at the vision, Munyagwa. Now here, Munyagwa wants fair share of the national cake. And we see NUP launches 11-point program. Moving on, FDC promises economic reforms. I see Nandala holding a goat.
One of the greatest things that happen at campaigns is the gifts received.
Okay. Government raises pay for older persons. Well, these are the ones receiving the 25,000. Now, if government has raised the pay there, that is something good for them. I quickly move to the Daily Monitor this morning. 2026 battle begins. We see FDC Narama Fabin Wiyikwe, Noops, Bobby Storms Ginger, and the attenders for you need to look through. Then the fall of term limits when power outlived the Constitution. That is according to the Daily Monitor. A picture of His Excellency that was at the launch of the NRM manifesto. Well, these and more when you get yourself a copy. But let Julie take us through what Kenya and Tanzania have this morning.
Right, and starting off with Tanzania, that is with the Citizen. The headline there is Dar Ports plan ahead of record year end surge. With the year-end shipping peak fast approaching, port stakeholders are stepping up preparations to manage what is expected to be one of the busiest cargo seasons in recent history. And still there in the Citizen, why 20% of babies born at Bugando have heart defects. That's something to look into indeed. Samia pledges to boost Tanga's role in national economic development. Also still in the Citizen, Tanzania's digital innovation drive gets Hungarian support, and Matters crime. 3 linked to varsity students' abduction, killing, shot, dead. Now, looking at what we have in Kenya, the headline there is Shattered Lives. And pictures of crash victims In there is Susan Wanjuru, wishes it were just a nightmare, but it isn't. Her elderly parents, her son, the driver of the ill-fated Matatu, and 4 sisters are gone. They were among 16 relatives who left their Morangas village on Sunday for Lanette to visit an ailing kin. They never made it to their destination. Sad story indeed. And still in the Daily Nation, crackdown on school unrest. Students implicated in riots will sit their national exams at designated centers outside their schools as authorities grapple with a wave of unrest. Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Ogamba has directed school managers to enforce strict disciplinary measures, including expulsion. Now, still in the Daily Nation, how I smashed 42-year record. Lillian Odira says running across country did the trick for her as she recalls the remarkable race that saw her win the 800-meter world title and break the 1983 championship record. All of that in the Daily Nation, and it brings us to the end of what we have in the dailies today and the news making rounds on the local scene, global scene, and in the press. It's exactly 7 a.m. Good morning, Uganda. Let's take a short break as you enjoy some music, and we'll be back with another conversation for you. 0709602592 is the number for you to always save and be a part of the conversation and the whole show. Good morning. Launched his campaign at Kawempe yesterday. Good morning. Thank you so much for watching UBC TV. Now, from protecting the achieved gains of Uganda now to a protest vote for a new Uganda now, to fixing the economy with money into our pockets, to the government fully owning all private schools, etc., etc., etc. These are the some of the manifestos that started the 3 months campaign that is going to take a long 3 months turn, but as it takes shape while we look forward to the 2026 general election. The question is, do Ugandans actually vote based on manifestos, or they actually vote based on issues at hand in that moment? That is for you to think on and to chew on. But as you chew on that, Noop officially handed out cards to members of parliament aspirants representing the party. And a few of those that are, of course, making the rounds. Matthias Walukaga was selected to replace Honorable Medad Segona for Busiro County. And Shamim Malende is bouncing back for Kampala Central, while Zahara Luika has been deployed to Machindye East. Question there is, will she actually accept to really run for Machindye East, seeing as she also had a lot of influence in Kampala? Derek Nyeko obviously dropped. For Rubaga South, Aloysius Mokasa was dropped for Eugenia Nasolo. Now, I shall allow Robert Chirabo Nyonyintono to add gist to the matters red card, but my name is Julie F. Nantaba. Good morning, Uganda, and welcome to the show. Good morning, Robert.
A lovely morning to you, Julie. I love the gray you're putting on. I hope I don't have challenges with my sight.
Well, it looks like your suit, so looks like we woke up on the same memo today.
Great minds.
I think alike. Now, I could tell your body language. I know you have a lot to spew when it comes to matters, the red card. Start right away. Read it.
Well, first I want to thank the Elections Management Committee of National Unity Platform for the job well done, because they really had some challenges in some positions. Key among them was how are they going to handle the issue of Shamim Malende, Honorable, and Zahara Ruyurika. Now, this was a very tricky moment.
Right.
And we were all waiting to see how they're going to play this. But I want to say they scored. They scored. They scored. Malende was the favorite on ground, and of course she had qualified in all aspects. Now, Zahara being taken to, that is Machindye West?
Machindye East.
Sorry, Machindye East. Now remember, there are also contestants there.
Right.
And I don't know, though there is still that belief that in some areas, once you have the NUP ticket, it may work out well. But if those choose not to move out of the race, and they step foot on ground and they push, that may be a slot they may lose.
Right.
It would have been fair enough, yes. She's not gone through the vetting committee, she's good enough. But there has to be one person, like the NUP principal said yesterday, that all of you are good. But you see, this card must go to one person. So if she didn't make it, it would have been better not to destabilize the environment there, that someone there gets the ticket. Two, when it comes to Aloysius Mukasa and going in for Nasolo, I must say that was also a good choice.
Really? Why? Why so?
Aloysius Mukasa, one, let's look at representation of the people. You see, Mukasa came on the side of money. If I've seen someone in Kampala who invested money in the campaigns, it was Aloysius Mukasa. After getting the vote, where was Mukasa?
Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100*21# and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable. Every waking day is a reminder just how beautiful this, our land, truly is. The kind of beauty that you can only find here, in the lush green all around us and the wondrous sights within. It's in the distinct aroma of our cooking, to the taste of food that takes you on a journey, in the sound of homecoming and the sound of Mother Earth, in the magnificence we find on our travels and the exciting moments we experience. Ours is the kind of beauty that comes in all things big and small. All we have to do is awaken our senses and truly enjoy what's uniquely ours. Explore Uganda, the pearl of Africa.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Genshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules, plant extract, scientific ratio, take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day, don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Genshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
Juko.
Yo.
Wachikuwa. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Uganda, haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. We want what you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief, and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning. Thank you so much for watching UBC TV, and it's time for The Real as we look into the campaigns now from the official nomination of presidential candidates as to who will be the next president of Uganda. Between last week on Tuesday and just yesterday alone, a lot of words have been uttered, giving us a chance to chew on each statement uttered as we walk the journey to make the final decision of who will be the president of our nation, Uganda. Now we're looking at the campaigns and what we propose or think they shall look like given the environment right now. But you too can be a part of the conversation and share your opinion, share what you perceive, share what you see based on what has transpired so far, what has been said so far by the people, by the candidates, by the police. 0709602592 is the WhatsApp number that gives you that opportunity to be a part of the show as we all engage and share our 2 cents on what we think is, as definitely we wait for those who are experts to tell us what is actually. My name is Julie F. Nantaba, and I am with Robert Chirabo Nyonyintono. Robert, in your perspective, what are the key issues do you think are shaping the general 2026 elections?
Now, key issues, first and foremost, when we look at these 90 days, now they are no longer 90 because they were invited on the 25th and 27th to harmonize their campaigns. And we saw campaigns officially kicked off.
So yesterday. Do we count the 90 days from yesterday or before?
We count from yesterday because remember in January, I think on 12th, that is when campaigns are going to end. So it's 89
days left.
89 days left. Now, this is another critical period and a very important period because elections have key major stages. Many people concentrate on the tarring, but they have phases. One, the campaign period is very important. How it moves, because that is when you go to the masses to tell them or to find ways of making them vote for you. Like I told you, some do not concentrate on even campaigns. Right. One would concentrate on bribing voters, though it may not be seen as bribes. But Justice Simon Byabakama warned them and even warned religious institutions that these issues of inviting people for fundraising, well knowing they are candidates, hold that for now. An aspiring MP, you want to roof the church, you're inviting this person. You're putting him in a trap, but that can be used against him, even when he wins his election and is disqualified. Now, this is a very important period. And I want to look at the most critical issues here. And these are the stakeholders now. Who are the major stakeholders here? We have the people that come to these rallies. We have the candidate themselves. We have police and the Electoral Commission as well. These four parties. These will determine so much what this period is like, or will shape it. As it comes to an end, then we shall go to the casting vote. That very day, how do we handle it? Because it's also very critical. Then from there, the tarring is also important.
Right.
Now, after the tarring, the declaration, we have our neighbors here. I don't want to mention the country, where the swearing in of some president, not their current president, but emeritus. The way it was done, but it was done and dusted. So there are phases in elections. Now we're at another critical phase. Here, I want to begin with the candidates themselves. Now, I've already said the words of the candidate will ignite, will charge his supporters, will cause peace or violence. How the candidate handles, how the candidate speaks. If, for example, a candidate decides to wake up, they are going for a presidential rally.
Right.
They have this thing that's similar to what soldiers put on.
A beret.
Not a beret.
What's that?
A helmet.
Oh, the helmet.
Yes, that, I've seen some, they have it, you know. Puts on something similar to a bulletproof.
Okay.
Very visible. Puts on shin guns and comes out ready for war. You know, and stands somewhere and says, my supporters, today we are going to war. We are going for war. Then social media is present. People who choose to do irresponsible journalism will begin showing, and you know, the candidates, the electorate, the people that are coming for their rallies are already charged. We are going for war. Even what would be something that wouldn't result into chaos would result into chaos because we are charged already. So the candidate's message, the candidate's conduct is going to determine so very much how these campaigns, these 90 days or 89 are going to be. So first is the candidate. Now, there are many ways of packaging the same message and conducting yourself, and it sinks to the people. If I want to agitate, if I want to cause, how can I call it?
Havoc.
No, I want to go in the mind, look, I want to go in the mind of a person who is coming to my rally. I intoxicate them.
Manipulate.
I charge them to be violent. Because I need those clashes with the police. You know, this number of people have been beaten, these are now nursing wounds, these are this. And it works because I've told you, in Africa and also globally, sympathy vote matters so much.
Right.
If we see that you're being persecuted, there's a way it ignites someone to say, Tumuwere dala. No wonder many have won when they're in prisons.
So little wonder the use of the word protest vote.
So, for that candidate, that is very important. For the peaceful. Now, second, are the people who are coming to these rallies. You, if you set your mind that here it is just about campaigns, we are going to listen to the message, or we are going to look, because some people who come to these rallies are not necessarily your supporters. Some want to see how Mubaraka Munyagwa looks like. The man they have been seeing on Zungururu. You know, the man they are here, they have been seeing on various social media platforms, also TikTok, speaking this and that, making fun. He's been entertaining them. They want to physically look at this person. How does he look like? You know? Some, you know, people gathering, they will come and gather along. So, if you know that, well, I'm just going to this rally, listen to the message, I come back home. Don't go when you've set your mind to cause chaos. If you see chaos, you move away. If everyone moves away, if you're going, set your mind is set that it is just a period that we have in this country, and the best takes the day. As you who is going for this rally. Second, also I just want to speak to the youth, which is very important. Over a time, I've seen that most of the times, these principals are not arrested. You who has left your family, you've gone there, whatever has erupted, they round you up. In 2021, there are people who are arrested and they could still be in the gallows up to today. But life continues. That you must have at the back of your mind. Now I come to security agencies.
All right.
Believe you me, we've had incidents that have turned chaotic and violent because they have been mishandled by police or security agencies. Some of them we don't know who do you work for. The incidents. In my life as a journalist, I've seen this, and I'll quote one because it was even documented. It ran on social media. I want to tell you, one time there was a riot, and I remember AIGP Andrew Felix Kawesi was the one commanding, I think was the commander in Kampala Metropolitan. Now, one of the commanders of the anti-riot, out of the blue, threw a tear gas canister. And you see these people, once they see tear gas, you know, they charge. They began throwing stones. Andrew Felix Kawesi ran from the stairs of CPS, came down, as who has done this. Disarmed, took him off the scene. And what had become a rowdy, he cooled it in less than 5 minutes. You know, the late Sam Omara was one of those people. We used to go, I covered the message almost all through his trail. I was assigned there. But the incidents that could have gone very rowdy, but Omara could make them something laughable. No, this man was tactical. When he would see that actually this have charged, he would begin bringing, you know, his Uganda was crooked. And cracking jokes and making fun. And people, you see people moving away. He begins there and you know, there is a way he would play with the crowd, psychology.
Right.
And the people who have been violent. Now, you know, and he cools the situation. So the commanders, the people who are going to be policing these events, away from saying my role is to maintain law and order, have that humane, have that proper sense of judgment. Is this, you know, how is this reasonable force? Avoid excitement. And lastly, the Electoral Commission. You see, much as security and Electoral Commission do different roles, but manning elections and this process is highly a responsibility of the Electoral Commission. That is why they will go back and say, akachiko ka gundi. Uganda will say, Biabakama, Honorable Justice Biabakama. They will not look at so much of this. So, where, I remember in 2021, there were cries. Some candidates cried out loud and said, but I think the weighing scale is not balancing. It is tilted to one side. These are things you should come in and do. Don't remain silent. If it's to reign over a candidate who has shown excessive indiscipline, you have the right to do that as the Electoral Commission. Set that precedent. You know, if we say campaign, the candidates have a right to do this, they have a right to do this. Please, place harder where you should.
Right. Let me engage a couple of the comments that are coming through. Good morning, Uganda. I'm Kevin watching live from West Nile. I personally pray for a peaceful campaign process because I know the race is on. And you mentioned the two candidates on between President Museveni and Robert Kyagulanyi. And someone else comes through. Robert, I wonder what you would say to this, but UBC is biased in delivering information. Stop being partisan to NRM.
Well, I don't know which partisan, because I've looked at the 3 areas. And I was very clear what the masses must do, what those who are campaigning the candidates must do, what the EC must do, and what police must do.
Right.
Now, I've not said, I think because I never mentioned what NRM must do. But now...
But it was general.
NRM, they have a presidential candidate. I've all wrapped it in. If the NRM candidate woke up and said, we are the majority, we shall not allow this, we shall not allow this, because it is the mass party, it has the most of the members of parliament as of the previous election, or uttered words that are violent, I would still comment on that.
Right.
And say, no, we shouldn't. So I've called for responsibility
for all stakeholders.
For all stakeholders,
right.
For all candidates in terms of communication.
Right. Now, you know, time is such an enemy for us, but just paint us a picture for someone especially who covered the elections, the last elections in 2021. In your perspective, how do you think the political landscape in Uganda has changed? Has it changed since then anyway? Has it changed for the good, for the worst, or is it stagnant?
Well, first, the other elections, we want to give you a very good picture because we had COVID-19.
Right.
So the campaigns were restricted, this and that, but this is full blast. And I hope it is maintained as full blast, that people shall exercise their rights as candidates, as they are supposed to do within the laws of this country, and speak to the electorate and do whatever they need to do. Now, this time around, we have the youth. That is one constant factor. That majority of the people are youth. How does one attract them so much? 2, the vigor and vibe that was in 2021, I still see it missing this time around. I don't know if it's voter fatigue or there are certain things that have demoralized people to participate so very much in these elections. I'm yet to see campaigns. It was just the day one, but when you move even around, you know, there's something you feel is a bit not yet up that much, maybe because of lack of enough civic education. I know voter education will come in towards the casting of the papers. The Electoral Commission will put tick here, that is voter education, but civic education, we've not done much at all as a country and concerned bodies. Now, the youth factor is a very big issue. Also, the fact that still another constant factor is people not looking at issues. I've tried to speak to a number of youth there, asking them, did you listen to Nandara Mafabi's manifesto? What is he in for? You know, because FDC's manifesto was launched some time back.
Yep.
And even when candidates were speaking, you would ask Gundi Ayogedechi, but you would find that people, either they have already tuned their mind to who they are going to vote, or other factors, not the manifesto. And to me, I think that is a very big challenge for our country, that we've still failed to bring people to look at content and make a choice. You know, our people still have other factors they look at, some of which the excitement is there.
Some are born with families supporting particular parties.
Some are born with families. Now that one we can say, okay, because even in this in some of these countries, if someone comes from the China Communist Party, it is very rare that they will support another party, because there is a way you indoctrinate your people into your political party. But the fact that even if you have to have a presidential debate and you have all the presidents there, that people are going to listen to what each of these candidates says, how they are going to bring the change they are talking for. If you're talking about a new Uganda now, you know, if you're talking about money in your pocket, if you're talking about protecting the gains, you know, and we want to listen, are people going to listen? The truth is, people may hear, we do not listen at what you're telling us to be the factor for why we are voting for you.
Right.
No one, and I'm afraid the wave factor may also still play. That's why you see someone can stand in one area and that person is told, no, you shift here. And chances are they may still win, because some may not vote for this and that, but also not forgetting that even still another factor that remained constant is the issue of independence. This is in all opposition parties and the NRM as well. The NRM talked about a committee of eminent persons going and speaking. But still these issues where a person supporting this party either decampaigns someone of their party, or what they do, they support another candidate openly or secretly, or they choose to come as an independent and divide the vote. That factor is still at play even this time around. So I expect peaceful campaigns if all stakeholders choose to be responsible and put Uganda first. Indeed,
we expect peaceful campaigns if all stakeholders each plays their part as they ought to. Now, this conversation has to come to a close, but well, as we head to the general 2026 elections as Uganda, bon voyage. Let's make it peaceful, but also for God and my country, Uganda. On my end, let his kingdom come and let his will be done. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Ginshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning. Eat twice a day. Don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Ginshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
Every waking day is a reminder just how beautiful this, our land, truly is. The kind of beauty that you can only find here. In the lush green all around us and the wondrous sights within. It's what you feel in the gentle caress of tropical wind from the mountaintops. And the glow in your heart from a warm neighborly invite. It's in the distinct aroma of our cooking to the taste of food that takes you on a journey. In the sound of homecoming and the sound of Mother Earth. In the magnificence we find on our travels and the exciting moments we experience. Ours is the kind of beauty that comes in all things big and small. All we have to do is awaken our senses and truly enjoy what's uniquely ours. Explore Uganda, the pearl of Africa.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Brought to you by Uniquely Ours. Explore Uganda.
I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to the people of Arua for being such gracious hosts and for your enthusiastic and responsive embrace of the opportunities in the tourism sector. Your warmth and readiness to welcome visitors are our greatest asset. The theme for this year, World Tourism Day 2025, is Tourism and Sustainable Transformation. It resonates very well and deeply with our national aspirations and particularly with the realities of this region, West Nile. The theme urges us to reconsider how tourism is developed and experienced, emphasizing the need for inclusivity, resilience, and adaptability. It challenges us to ensure that our growth does not compromise the ability of future generations to benefit from the same natural and cultural resources we enjoy today. Tourism, Right Honourable Prime Minister, at its core, a travel economy. It impacts multiple nodes along the value chain, from transportation and accommodation to attractions and various auxiliary services. This interconnectedness means tourism is a powerful engine for job creation and for attracting new money into the region. We face accessibility challenges that need urgent attention. I know government has plans to improve and expand Arua airstrip. These details will be disclosed to you by the Minister of Works and Transport at an appropriate time. And today, the Prime Minister will make a comment on the same matter. The same Minister of Transport and Works has also got plans for the road to Kwach, Nebi Town, and Arua City, especially Arua, especially Nebi up to Arua. Everybody can see, can feel, can experience how that road is not the best in Uganda. Our performance in the tourism sector shows a remarkable recovery and growth trajectory. In 2024, our international tourist arrivals increased to 1.37 million visitors to Uganda, a significant rise from the previous year. This performance brings us to 89.2% of our pre-pandemic level. Tourism expenditure grew by an impressive 26% to Uganda shillings 4.8 trillion, approximately $1.28 billion. Each tourist is now spending more, with an average length of stay increasing to 8.7 nights. It's no longer 2 nights, but 8.7 nights. This is a direct result of our focus on attracting high-value tourists who are willing to stay longer and spend more. I have no doubt that some of us who came yesterday will not be going back today. We shall go tomorrow and after tomorrow. And that's what tourism is all about. Tourism contributed to an estimated 5.7% to Uganda's GDP and supported over 803 100,000 jobs. The rise in meetings, incentives, conferences, and events activities has also been a major driver, significantly enhancing our global visibility. As we look ahead to NDP 4 period, we are fully cognizant of the government's prioritization of tourism as a key driver of the national economy. As one of the key pillars of agro-industrialization, tourism development and mineral development, and science, technology and innovation, our industry is tasked with contributing significantly to the country's ambitious 10-fold growth strategy, aiming to grow our GDP to $500 billion by 2040. And our specific target is to grow our foreign exchange earnings to $50 billion over the same period. We are committed to achieving this ambitious target. Our strategy is very clear. We will invest in modern tourism infrastructure, diversify our products, and build the capacity of our workforce to ensure world-class service delivery. We believe that with anticipated increase in funds and the continued support of our partners, we will meet these goals. I want to thank the National Resistance Movement leadership, led by His Excellency the President, for the unwavering support to the tourism sector. The collaboration, assistance, and improved understanding by all sectors in the economy towards tourism today. These days, everybody understands and appreciates tourism. The private sector, thank you for spearheading this tourism growth, driving investment and attracting the tourists to all the corners of Uganda, creating memorable experiences and impacting positively on the local communities. I also recognize the tireless efforts of the Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, Permanent Secretary, the entire staff, agencies, the Uganda Tourism Board, with now another young, vibrant CEO, the Uganda Wildlife Authority, with another young and vibrant ED, Hotel Tourism and Training College Ginger, a young academic and vibrant, and Uganda Wildlife Research and Training College assessing with a very, very forward-looking, progressive principle. Our local government partners, our missions abroad, whose expanded mandate under economic and commercial diplomacy is crucial to promoting Uganda globally. We pledge to contribute to the success of economic transformation. We are not just selling attractions, we are building an industry that empowers communities, protects our heritage, showcases the incredible beauty of the Pearl of Africa. There is a completely new understanding of tourism in Uganda today, and we are unstoppable. And once we have picked the initiative, once we have an advantage, we intend to advance until we have achieved the objective. Finally, some clarifications. For Arua Museum, we are waiting for the title, the land title. The title was in the names of Arua District. Arua District became part of it, Arua City. Now the title will move from being Arua City to Uganda Land Commission for use for development of the museum. So it will read Uganda Land Commission for the development of Uganda Land Commission, Ministry of Tourism for the development of the museum in Arua. So that's what is now remaining. and it will be done, I have no doubt, as fast as possible. We shall also profile Osala Musala. This place will be profiled by the ministry, will be profiled by the Department of Monuments and Museums, and after the profiling, finally, this area will be built, recognized as a heritage and tourism attraction. And finally, for the translocation of the rhinos, Uganda Wildlife Authority has already promised that this will be done this year. So in other words, by Christmas, we should have the rhinos in Ajay. Let me congratulate all that today we are recognized and awarded trophies, certificates, etc. for excelling in tourism and creative industry in Uganda. And I specifically congratulate Dr. Sudhir Ruparelia, our old man and good friend. Congratulations upon that achievement. Thank you for listening to me.
Brought to you by Uniquely Ours. Explore Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, Uganda. Welcome back from JMU Tourism JMU Tourism Express. Time for business. My name is Julie F. Nantaba, and we are starting off with Trump, who seems to be somersaulting in excitement. And good news, YouTube has agreed to pay $24.5 million to settle a lawsuit brought by Donald Trump, filed after the video platform suspended his account in the wake of the 6th January attack on the U.S. Capitol. The settlement from the video streaming giant's parent company Alphabet, which also owns Google, comes after social media sites, that is X and Facebook, also agreed to pay Trump for suspending his accounts. Trump had accused YouTube and other tech companies of political bias, claiming they had unfairly censored conservative voices after the Capitol riot in 2021. Now, at the time of his suspension, social media companies said that Trump risked inciting further violence in Washington, D.C. as part of Monday's settlement. YouTube will pay $22 million to the Trust of the National Mall, a non-profit group that is aiming to raise $200 million to build a new ballroom at the White House. Another $2.5 million will be paid to other organizations and individuals who joined Trump's lawsuit, including the American Conservative Union. YouTube is the latest major platform to settle with the president. In January, Facebook's parent company Meta agreed to a $25 million settlement, with $22 million earmarked for Trump's presidential library. A month later, social media platform X, a company that was purchased by Trump's then ally Elon Musk in 2022, settled for a reported $10 million. All of Mr. Trump's social media accounts have been since reinstated. And staying with news regarding Donald Trump, he has repeated his threat to impose a 100% tariff on all films not made in the U.S., claiming the American industry had been stolen by other countries. He said on Monday that California had been heavily affected and the levy would solve this long-time time never-ending problem. In May, the U.S. president said he would talk to Hollywood executives about his plan and to begin the process of imposing the levy because America's film industry was dying a very fast death. Trump's remarks come as he announced a new wave of tariffs last week, including a 100% levy on branded or patented drug imports, as well as a 50% levies on the kitchen and bathroom cabinets. Trump said on his Truth Social platform, "Our movie-making business has been stolen by the United States of America by other countries, just like stealing candy from a baby. California, with its weak and incompetent governor, has been particularly hard hit." He said that 100% tariffs would be imposed on any or all movies that are made outside of the United States, and Trump did not say when the tariff will come into force. The White House has been approached for a comment that's still pending. Now, coming back home, state-owned Uganda Development Bank plans to raise $500 million in debt from international capital markets to support a 4-year plan to boost lending to the mining, energy and manufacturing sectors, a senior executive said on Monday. UDB's Treasury head Taib Lubega told Reuters by telephone that the lender intends to raise the funds in tranches, with the first issuance of $100 million to $150 million potentially coming as early as next year. The bank, which holds assets worth 1.82 trillion Uganda shillings, is working with Paris-based Global Sovereign Advisory to determine the most suitable debt instrument. It is considering options such as a green bond or a syndicated loan, Lubega said. As we observe the market into next year, we'll be able to decide on the instrument. We'll be able to decide on the instrument and will issue. He said the funds are expected to support lending in sectors including mining, energy, manufacturing, agro-processing, tourism, infrastructure, climate change, education and health, he added. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has said his government is committed to expanding UDB's capital base to improve access to cheap long-term financing for businesses in the East African economy. Well, that brings us to the end of what we have in the business news today, but let's have a look at what we have in the forex rates as of yesterday, the 29th day of September 2025. And the US dollar opened at 3,486.68. That was buying and was selling at 3,496.68. And by midday, it had dropped to 3,485.91 and selling at 3,495.91. It closed in to a drop of 3,485.23, buying and selling at 3,495.23. The British pound was buying at 4,683.45 and selling at 4,696.89. The euro was buying at 4,087.12 and selling at 4,098.85, and the Kenyan shilling dropped a bit there from last week, end of last week, to 26.97 and selling at 27.05. And the Tanzanian shilling was buying at 1.41 and selling at 1.42. And the South African rand increased to 201.54 based on what was at the end of last week, and was selling at 202.11 as of yesterday, bringing us to the end of what we have at GMU Business today. Up next is the agenda, and we have sports as well, so stay tuned. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC. was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah yo, baby dondolo.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100*21# and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Every waking day is a reminder just how beautiful this, our land, truly is. The kind of beauty that you can only find here. In the lush green all around us and the wondrous sights within. It's what you feel in the gentle caress of tropical wind from the mountaintops. And the glow in your heart from a warm neighborly invite. It's in the distinct aroma of our cooking to the taste of food that takes you on a journey. In the sound of homecoming and the sound of Mother Earth. In the magnificence we find on our travels and the exciting moments we experience. Ours is the kind of beauty that comes in all things big and small. All we have to do is awaken our senses and truly enjoy what's uniquely ours. Explore Uganda, the pearl of Africa.
Juko.
Yo.
Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Ginshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning. Eat twice a day. Don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Ginshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability.
For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archive stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
The government's core mandate is to maintain law and order, safeguard citizens' rights, and provide essential public services.
Remember, one of the pillars of a roadmap is innovation and entrepreneurship.
There has been this question of how are you protecting our indigenous seed?
There's going to be a toll project that answers somebody's question.
The front bench has brought you insightful discussions on governance, security, healthcare, justice and commerce.
When you go through this complicated procedure, involve the lawyers, you bring the case against him, the judge will hear you out and pass judgment, and you're out of court in record time.
We remain committed to keeping you informed and engaged on key national matters.
So these are huge, these are powerful organizations which now Uganda chairs. Why don't you come together?
If we haven't migrated to the e-card because of various reasons, including that not all the people of Uganda have smartphones.
You can sit in your house, apply for a passport. If you have a Ugandan who has a successful logistics firm in the US, it means he can come to Uganda and do a lot more.
Every Monday at 8:30 p.m. with me, Jethro Kasaiji, your interface with the government only on your public broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Every Wednesday, live in our studios in the heart of Kampala.
We have to change the political culture in this country, really. Who has bewitched Ugandans?
I want to assure you, as government, we shall do whatever it takes to ensure that Ugandans are safe.
We have conversations that have analysis, explanation.
This law society, this union of theirs, because they want a job everywhere, they want to be this, they want to be that, they want... No. We know it's a union.
You cannot be making a road, bitumen grade 1, in Congo for 5 billion.
But not every truth is fact, and not every fact is truth.
The argument that the General Court Martial is responsible for peace and stability is without basis, either in law or in fact.
We have been told how Napoleon was a great orator. Now, Napoleon cannot help me get food. They told me combine harvest in Saskatchewan. I don't know where Saskatchewan is. This is a geographer we're taught. Instead of teaching me how to preserve Mabera forest, they're teaching me about Rhineland. This is a problem we got. We cannot run away from it.
Right now, you hear very disgusting stories of members of parliament. Instead of discussing the details of loans, they ask for their cuts.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
Public broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda. Live from UBC studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
A very good morning, Uganda. Thank you so much for watching UBC TV. If you are just joining in, you're welcome. This is Good Morning Uganda. And if you started the show with us, thank you. Thank you so much for choosing UBC TV. We always come to you live from Nile Avenue. Now, over the past 5 years, or maybe 4 years, so far, the ruling government has run a manifesto that, amongst many, promised to protect the environment from distraction, to dialogue and enforcement, to management of natural resources, to water management, to the implementation of all of this and the challenges faced therein. So let's talk about all the gains in the environment sphere over the last 5 years. Now, Dr. Barirega Akankwasa is here to make sure that he feeds us on as to whether the gains have been received and how best they can be protected. At that, he is the Executive Director of the National Environment Management Authority. Be a part of the conversation. 0709 602 592. Doctor, good morning.
A very good morning to you and our viewers and listeners.
Right, always a pleasure having you. Sure. Always a pleasure having you. And let's start from the gains, as I've mentioned them, some of the promises that the manifesto 2021-26 had for the environment. Have the promises been achieved so far?
I think the promises have been exceeded.
Oh, wow.
The promises have been exceeded in environment sector, and we can examine different segments. As you may have heard recently, Uganda was ranked first in Africa and third globally in protection of wetlands by a Boston best university in the US, which is a very objective assessment without Uganda's participation. And so we can confidently say we have exceeded expectations, notwithstanding challenges. The challenges are there, but the milestones are many. We could start from wetlands to look at where we are faring, how we are faring. Uganda has managed to keep 13.9% of its land mass protected as wetlands. No single country in the world has attained this. The global average for the region, no country exceeds 10% of its land mass protected as wetlands. The global average is 6%. Continental average at Africa level is just 3%. Uganda, we are at 13.9%. That's why we've been ranked the best. We are protecting 3.35 million hectares of Uganda as intact wetlands. Nobody else in the world has protected this percentage. As you may be aware, the world has lost almost 85% of its original wetland cover, and for Uganda to have protected 13.9 to date, despite the population spiraling every other day, with the annual population growth rate above 2.5, from 1986 alone, our population has more than tripled.
Right.
From 15 million Ugandans to now 45.9, that's almost 46 million. So the population has more than tripled. How have we maintained our wetland cover? We've lost about 2%, which is painful to lose, but compared to 300% population rise, we've performed exceptionally well, and we are proud. And we continue to strive to recover even those parts which are degraded. We continue to strive to restore them, so that we can even enhance our percentage cover of wetlands. So from the wetland angle, we've exceeded expectations, notwithstanding challenges associated with population growth, industrialization, and urbanization, which automatically comes with pressure on need for land.
Very, very interesting indeed. Now that you talk about the population, indeed, the success, as you've rightfully put the statistics, has been registered. But the population won't reduce as time goes on, it will increase further and further. What's the plan to at least stop at the 2%?
Yeah, the plan is to focus on qualitative improvements in the population. The population itself may not necessarily be a problem if the quality of the population is good. If you have the population of numbers, quantitative, you can have a problem. But if the population is qualitative, the population will go into services industry, it will go into industries, it will go into innovation and creation of jobs. It will be a resource in terms of affordable labor, in terms of economic advancement. For example, settlements can be vertical. You can have vertical settlements. Our population is not yet a population that we cannot manage. If you look at the population of London, for example, just London alone, so we can manage our population if we focus on its quality, education, skilling of the population, and then development of the economy, so that this population participates in building the economy and also is absorbed in the economy, instead of only relying on use of natural resources for survival. If you leave the population to only rely, for example, on land for survival, you will have a problem. You will have degradation of wetlands, of forest cover, of hill and mountainous areas, of forest reserves, which is supposed to be conserved for posterity. But if you have a population that is engaged in, for example, development of tourism and related services, ICT, transport sector, in industries, and then you have organized settlements, which is vertical. Uganda is bigger than so many other countries of the world, which have even a bigger population than Uganda. But their settlements are organized. If you go to Europe and see, they bring everyone into human settlements, so that they release land in the countryside for agriculture, commercial production, for industries. So we only need to get it right in how we set our people. In Uganda, you will find one house here. After 5 kilometers, you find another house. So we live in a luxurious kind of setting in terms of usage of land. That's not sustainable in a long term. We need affordable and organized housing into, for example, urban settlements, low-cost housing, affordable housing, and then we focus on growing vertically instead of growing laterally. So population can be actually a resource depending on its quality. So we must focus on the quality as opposed to numbers.
0709602592 is the WhatsApp number that you should engage and be a part of the conversation. We are looking at the gains of the environment sphere over the past 5 years, and to do that with us is the Executive Director of the National Environment Management Authority, and that is Dr. Bariga Akankwatsa, who is here to answer your questions or share an opinion or two from your opinions as well, to make clarity of what you don't understand. Doctor, over the past 5 years, has the mandate of NEMA changed in any way, and if yes, how so?
The mandate of NEMA has not changed since 1995. Our responsibility remains coordination, monitoring, supervision, and regulation of all activities environment in Uganda. So our duty is to ensure that everyone who lives in Uganda, one, contributes to establishing a clean and healthy environment. This is a constitutional dictate. Every citizen and even a non-citizen living in the country must establish a clean and healthy environment. That's the responsibility. And then we must guarantee the right to a clean and healthy environment. So you see, you have a responsibility and a right. You cannot enjoy a right without meeting your responsibility. You can't say government has a responsibility to guarantee a right to a clean and healthy environment when you were not contributing to establishing a clean and healthy environment. So the constitution enjoins every citizen living in Uganda to create a clean and healthy environment, and then enjoins the government to guarantee a right to a clean and healthy environment. So we've been executing this mandate of ensuring that we monitor the environment, we coordinate the environment, we supervise the environment, and regulate the environment. How do we regulate the environment? We regulate the environment through review of development applications to ensure that as we develop, we identify negative and positive environment and social impacts so that we come up with measures to mitigate the negative impacts and enhance the positive impacts. If we want to build a tower like this one we are in, NEMA will look into your development plan and guide you and say, waste streams will flow like this, noise will be mitigated through soundproofing or location of windows and doors in this direction. You will be able to harvest more sunshine if you create an angle of this for your building and then put your panels on this building. You will enjoy beauty if you preserve at least 30% of your compound as green. So we do all of this.
Right.
Before you establish an industry, we must assess and evaluate what impacts will this industry bring on board. How will you manage your waste? How will you manage your noise? How will you manage the emissions, air pollution? How will you live in harmony with your neighbors? How will you treat the workers, occupational health of workers? So we look at all of these and then we advise you, and if you follow what we advise you, then we get what we call sustainable development. And on the journey of sustainable development, we are progressing. As you are aware, the population that is poor has drastically reduced.
Right.
You must have been following the trends. It's now about 13% only of our population, which is poor.
Right.
So we are progressing.
Right.
We have about now 50,000 factories. All of these go through NEMA assessment. So you can see that we have been doing our work and doing it effectively, challenges notwithstanding.
Right, and speaking of the assessment, what of those factories that have found themselves risen in wetlands or areas that are meant to be protected? What exactly has been done? Because when you go on ground, of course, you listen to citizens or those who dwell in those areas that this factory is not supposed to be there. Sometimes you can even tell from when it rains, when it pours, what happens in the aftermath of the rain, the flooding effect. What has been done or what is not being done that is a bit of a haphazard on the side of NEMA?
So in the past, government was interested in attracting industries.
Right.
In Uganda. The late 2000, government was in to ensure that we get as much industries as possible in Uganda. So government created incentives to attract investments. And part of these incentives was government offering free land to investors to come and invest in Uganda. So part of this free land happened to be wetlands because of three reasons. When investors want to invest in Uganda, they are interested in land that is closer to the market, where the population is, in urban areas, close to other factors of production, electricity, water, transport. So the pieces of land that meet these investment criteria needs, some of them landed into wetlands. Like Namamve, for example, you remember, it was a central forest reserve, partly dry, partly wetland.
Even some part of Wankulukuku.
Yeah, even the Bombo Road, the Ginger Road. So government, in the bid to attract investments, allocated land, part of which was wetland, like I explained, because investors needed land that is closer to the market with access to other factors of production. So these mistakes were done in the past because of that. But effective 2021, government changed the policy, and 2021 we are talking about this Chisanja we are winding up.
The gains that
the gains, yeah, that's part of the gains actually. Government said no, it's a mistake to allow factories to be in wetlands. So effective 2nd September 2021, government banned any further allocation of wetlands for any form of development as factories, buildings. It's only fish farming, tourism, and other compatible activities that do not degrade wetlands. So yes, as you grow, some mistakes are made. For example, the world, that's how the world has lost 75% of its wetland cover. Europe lost almost 45% of its wetland cover. So we have mistakes to learn from for those who developed faster. But in the last 5 years, we've been on track. No single factory has been allocated wetland in the last 5 years.
Right, thank you, Doctor. Now that you talk about the fact that from 2021 in September onwards, the government said no to disturbing wetlands. I understand now there came solutions as to how wetlands can be best used for monetary purposes, but whilst preserving them. And that brings me to ask the broader question of what policies or innovations came, what more to what you've just said, came through that has had a major impact over the past 5 years.
Yeah, we've been promoting fish farming on fringes of wetlands to protect them. This has been done in remote area, in Bukedi region and other parts of the country. Instead of growing rice, you put fish for two reasons. One, rice will need chemicals, and these chemicals may go into the water. So, two, the return on investment from rice is much less than return on investment in fish farming. And we have ready market for fish locally, regionally, and internationally. In Europe, there is a lot of demand. And our water is one of the best waters, fresh waters, that will give you the best quality of fish. So that's why government has been supporting local communities to engage in fish farming. In Western Uganda, in Eastern Uganda, this is ongoing. The biggest problem has been source of quality fish feeds, but this one government is addressing. Once we address the quality of fish feeds, the solution of fish farming will be a very viable one, because the quality of fish feeds determines almost 80 to 90% of success in fish farming. That's one. Then we also promote sustainable utilization of these wetlands for tourism, for example. We receive quite a number of tourists to Ramusa sites, to wetlands like Rutembe, to wetlands like Nabajus in Masaka, to wetlands where we have endangered species like the shubir, apart from shubir, we have the crowned crane is also a bird that is thought out by birders, and so many other bird species.
Ibis hadada.
Yeah, hadada ibis, yes, much as not a very rare bird, but it is also on the list of bird lovers. But a shoe bill, for example, you can only see it in very, very few areas in the world. And we are privileged to be one of the countries where you can actually find a shoe bill. It's a big, big tourist attraction. So wetlands are habitats for these shoe bills. But wetlands also can be used for extraction of craft materials. If it is sustainably managed, you can extract materials for making of crafts without degrading the wetland. You can also extract fodder for livestock from wetlands without degrading the wetland. So the wetland can actually promote livelihoods and economic development without losing the wetland. Harvesting of water for irrigation of the upland. If you are neighboring a wetland, you can harvest the water from the wetland and do your rice farming, for example, at the dry part, using water from the wetland to irrigate the dry part. And then you will continue having the wetland, and you also have your rice. Yeah.
Staying with matters, policies, and the law, somebody comes through and says, good morning. It is a lie. There are many constructions in wetlands in Bukedi and Bugisu. Please take a move. What would you say to, they did not leave their name, but yeah, he submits that.
Well, if there is any construction in a wetland, it would be an illegal construction. And once we get such illegal construction, you know what we do always. We must restore the area at your cost and peril.
Right.
Yeah.
And I believe perhaps the one who has submitted should reach out to you.
In a box. You should in a box specific areas, and we reach out to them.
Right. So still, let's stay with matters, policies and the law. How have you got industries, factories, or even real estate developers to abide and comply by the policies that have taken shape since September 2021?
Yeah, we have established a unit called Compliance Assistance Unit to proactively engage prospective developers so that the developers can integrate environment and social safeguards in their project design at the project inception stage, so that by the time you are developing, environment matters are already integrated. And real estate is one such area that is regulated. Industries are also regulated. Transport industry, roads, lorries, and bridges, all these are regulated. So we have standards in place. For example, if you are to build any settlements beyond 5 acres, you must seek for assistance from National Environment Management Authority to guide you on how to utilize best your land, so that you can have both the building but also the environment. Shortly we shall be talking about our performance in the forestry sector. Forestry can coexist with development with real estates. Urban greening and urban forestry is something that has been proven to coexist with development. So real estate, we work together, we guide them. Industries, same thing, we work together through both proactive technical advisory services, but also environment and social impact assessment, and lastly, if there is no compliance, enforcement.
In fact, I wanted to ask you more on the side of enforcement, because one of the things from the 2021 till date was dialogue and enforcement. And from the picture you've given us, there's been a lot of dialogue, a lot of involving stakeholders and bringing them to the point of understanding what is being done and how they must comply. But there are those, obviously, given that it's Uganda and being human, there are those that will never comply. So take us through or paint a broader picture of how enforcement has been realized over the past 5 years.
Yeah.
And share examples if need be.
Yeah, sure. First of all, enforcement is something that is very expensive and should come in as a last resort, like you've said. The first priority is to sensitize and educate Ugandans and citizens that this environment we are protecting it for you, because you cannot have socio-economic transformation of any country minus water, minus clean air, minus natural resources, forests, minerals, all these are environment. So first thing is Ugandans must know that we are protecting this environment for them, not for government per se, but for them, for their social and economic well-being. Two, after sensitizing, we give technical guidance. We say, yes, this environment, you can actually use it, but use it well. If you have your piece of land, you can use it this way so that you continue benefiting from it without facing disaster. Because if you build in a waterway, if you build in a wetland, water will come and sweep your investment.
Right.
So we can lose life, but we shall also lose property, which will retard the transformation journey of our country. So those are two areas. Then if you do not heed to awareness, you do not heed to compliance assistance, we come in now for enforcement. How do we do enforcement? For factories, for buildings, we do annual and sometimes quarterly compliance inspections. If we find you have breached in a minor way, we give you compliance assistance, we give you advice on how to improve. If we find, for example, you have built...
What determines the minor and major?
For example, you may be poorly managing your solid waste. We come and say, we see you have only one bin for all types of waste, instead of having a minimum of at least 3. One for perishables or organic waste, one for recyclables like, plastics, glass, and one for hazardous waste, say medical waste or things which are very dangerous for society. So that's something that you can correct. We come and identify a weakness in your management and give you advice and say, correct this like this. That one, we may not need to enforce if you can listen to the improvement notes or advice we give you. If you do not, that can also turn into an enforcement matter. If we advise you and you refuse, we can open a criminal case against you and prosecute you. Now the bigger problems that may come with enforcement automatically is encroachment. You've put your building in a wetland illegally. We cannot advise you to improve it because it's already in a wrong place. So we give you notice and say, in 21 days, either confirm that you will remove it or you will remove it in 21 days if you can manage. If you need more time, you can ask for more time beyond 21 days to remove it. If 21 days lapse and you have not removed it, or you've not requested for more time to remove it, we have to come and help you to remove it. At your cost, unfortunately, much as we've not levied any cost so far, government has been meeting the cost of restoration, and government gave amnesty, not prosecute the people who have been helped to restore our wetlands. Yeah, so that's how enforcement comes in. So it should be really a last resort when all peaceful means have failed. It's like you want to commit suicide, and somebody is telling you you are about to commit suicide, and you refuse. We cannot let you to kill yourself. We must come in and save you from yourself. Yes.
Very interesting. And somebody comes through and says, good morning. How does one justify construction of nightclubs, factories and warehouses in residential areas? Who is responsible for these illegal approvals?
That's a question of physical planning. In every district, in every city, there is a physical planning committee which decides on what developments should take place where. So that's a work of physical planning. It is by law vested in physical planning committees, which are chaired by the COWs for case of districts, and for cities, they have equivalent structures. Yeah.
Now, earlier on, you wanted to share as to how forests can, you know, coexist alongside structure. Especially this is to real estate developers.
Yes.
And under that, indeed, I wanted to ask, outline some of the success projects that you have registered over the past 5 years.
Forestry cover generally. In the last 5 years, government working with private sector and civil society and all citizens has been able to reverse a catastrophe of running out of trees. We had reached 9% only of our land surface covered with forests.
From the 15% that was?
In fact, in 1900, 45% of Uganda was forested. So we moved from 45% in 1900 to about 15, then from 15 to 9% as of 2015. We had reached only 9%. So thanks to government efforts, we've made significant gains in the forestry sector now. We've been able to halt further loss of forest cover from 9%, we are now at 13%. So these are very significant gains to raise the forest cover of Uganda from 9% to 13%. Is not a small achievement by all measures.
Right.
So we congratulate all Ugandans for working together to recover the forest cover, and our target is to take this back at least to 15%. And it's achievable. So currently we are protecting 3.13 million hectares of forest cover in Uganda. I was telling you earlier that if you go to Europe, say Geneva or Paris or Netherlands, Amsterdam, these are developed areas with concrete and mortar, but they are also green. So urban forestry is possible. One, we must protect all the green spaces in urban areas. And where they are not, we must create them. On the road reserves and in the middle of roads, we must plant trees. Why do we need trees in urban areas? In urban areas, that's where we have high traffic of vehicles. And so that's where we have more emissions. So we need trees to help us absorb these emissions so that we have clean air to breathe. That's one. But there is obvious beauty. If you are in real estate, you need the beauty, you need the aesthetics, you need a relaxing environment.
Right.
Yeah. But there is also climate amelioration. As you know, as you make your buildings in cities, you create what we call the urban heat effect. Because there is no proper saturation of air because of buildings everywhere, you need these trees to help saturate the air so that you can live a normal life of somebody who is living in a rural area. So we must work together as government with urban areas, with local governments to ensure that we green all our urban areas, towns, municipalities, cities. They must be greened. All road reserves should be planted with trees. All public schools, public hospitals should be greened. And then we should have a mandatory standard that before your building plans are approved, you must guarantee that you will plant this number of trees and you will keep this percentage of your plot green. At least keep 30% of your compound or of your plot green. Then use 70% for your brick and mortar business, if you must.
Right.
You can also build without brick and mortar. We now have environmentally friendly building designs and structures which can coexist with the environment.
Very profound. Now, Doctor, as we begin to bring this conversation to a close, looking back at 2021 into 2026, is there more to be done, or is there more that should be done come 2026 to 31?
Yes.
Or is it entirely now about the gains to be protected moving forward?
Yes, I will quickly wrap up other gains we've made, and then since you are warning me of the time.
Right.
From the wildlife conservation sector, a lot of gains have been made. If I can give you a few statistics, most of the wildlife species that had almost got extinct due to the political turmoil of late 1970s have all been recovered now by this government. Mountain gorilla species have been recovered from 292 individuals in 1995 to now over 459. Elephant population, Uganda is the only country, perhaps apart from Southern Africa, with an elephant population that is growing. All the other elephant populations are declining. Our elephant population has grown from 1,900 in 1995 to over 8,000 now. Buffaloes have increased from 18,000 in 1995 to over 38,000 today. Giraffe population from just 153 individuals in 1995 to now 1,650. Again, Uganda is the only country with a growing giraffe population. Everywhere else, giraffes are on the decline. The Uganda kob, which is the antelope that appears on our coat of arms, we had only 30,000 in 1995. Now we have 146,000, which is almost double the population we had at independence of 70,000. So in wildlife conservation, lots of gains, as you can see. In air quality, we've improved our air quality from an annual mean average particulate matter 2.5 of 35 micrograms per cubic meter in 2019 to now 13 micrograms per cubic meter, which is classified by World Health Organization as good. I was here some time back discussing matters air quality.
Yes.
I said the ultimate target of air quality everywhere in the world by WHO is 5 micrograms per cubic meter. And no single country has attained 5 yet. The second band is 10. We are at 13. Surely we are progressing very, very well. The Africa average is 44. We are at 13. The best is 5, we are at 13. Africa average is 44. With some countries going up to 80 as of yesterday, 80 micrograms per cubic meter. Environment and social safeguards, we've fully automated business processes at NEMA. Now you can apply for your environment and social impact assessment at the comfort of your sitting room or office, apply online, pay online, get your certification online. You do not need to come to NEMA for any service.
Right.
All the services are online, and you can access all our services using eservices.nema.go.ug. eservices.nema.go.ug. All our services can be accessed online without the need for coming to NEMA, without any middleman. I want to encourage all our prospective investors and progressing investors not to be duped by middlemen. You do not need any middleman to access a NEMA service. You just log on to www.eservices.nema.go.ug. You will get all our services online.
Right, indeed, very profound achievements there. We've been looking at the gains of the National Environment Management Authority, and that is in the environment sphere over the past 5 years. And Dr. Barega Akankwasa, who is the Executive Director of NEMA, has been here with us to make sure that he elaborates and paints a picture of what has been achieved. Is there anything that should be, or NEMA is looking forward to achieve moving forward?
Yes.
Or it's just protecting the gains been?
In the next 5 years, we shall ensure that we protect all the gains already achieved,
right,
and then add more. We shall continue to strengthen regulation and enforcement against degradation. We shall continue to restore our degraded wetland ecosystems, riverbanks, and lake shores, and we shall continue to promote urban forestry and greening of our economy.
Right, and I'm closing this with a question. Hopefully you are able to answer it. Good morning, Doctor. Thank you for the show. I am Justus in Kampala. Doctor, we want to protect Nyanama, the Nyanama wetland. Nyanama wetland is being washed away. What can we do?
Nyanama wetland, we shall reach out. I think there is encroachment there in Nyanama wetland, and we are aware. We shall respond.
Right. Thank you so much, Doctor. Always a pleasure having you on the show. And Ruben is coming up next with GMU Sports. Good morning.